Welcome to Brooklyn Live. I'm here with Lauren alongside me, and behind the camera, as ever, who do we have?
Hi.
Corinne Dinan, is that your last name?
Dinan.
Dinan. What's your last name?
Galloway.
Is that Irish?
Oh, very good.
Okay, the Irish. Lauren Galloway. Well, so you're in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and there's like a foot of snow outside. I don't know if you can see it. But I drove my juggernaut to get here.
Uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways, slid a little, slip sliding around the way I like it, slip sliding around.
Slippery.
Okay, let me introduce you to Nadia.
Hello.
Let's give you the before of Nadia. I think I have it right here. Slowly but surely. Surely. Slowly but surely. So, there's the before. Now, come on, Lauren. Now, Marlene, who's one of our colorists here, did the color.
She did the color
What did she
yesterday.
do?
So what she wanted her to do was we needed to lift her a little bit. So we wanted to control that at the root. So we did 8 kg, 2 parts, 1 part, 11 p. So that way you didn't get too much of a hot root lift. And then we did the equal parts of that 11 and the 8 kg at the ends. And then glazed it with a nice 8 kg and 8 OR to give it that nice shine to it.
Well, I think Marlene will be happy with
Yeah.
your great description of the colour. All Goldwell hair colour.
All Goldwell.
We're a Goldwell, proud sponsor of Goldwell hair colour. So big change there, and now it's time to change the cup. So, scissors, these are the Arrojo B-Max. We have a special code today for our discount on Arrojo Pro. What is it, Corinne?
Snow day.
Snow day, 20% off if you're interested in getting some amazing new shears. So this is the Arrojo B-Mac, both in right and left hand. We have scissors for lefties too. All right, so now let's think about what we're going to do. And we had a consultation earlier, and she said that she liked something cleaner, but then she was kind of open. So what we decided to do, I said you've got two choices. We either slim it all the way down and keep it nice and clean, and keep some length through the top because she's got some beautiful texture, or we do the alternate, which is we collapse the top, collapse the side, shorten the front, and actually leave what we've got going on around the back. Of course, it will need some tailoring. So she decided to hand the keys over to me, yeah, so I'm in control. And what we've decided to do is we've decided to collapse everything shorter, take out the roundness, still keep some softness around the nape area. I think that's going to look nicer, and I think it's an exciting change too. And whenever you can change your client, I always recommend you do. We're going to go with a combination of scissor and then maybe a little bit of razor cutting. To begin with, what we are going to do is we're going to put our basic shape in. So let's start. Now there's two ways, well, there's many ways you can start, but let's just think about how we're going to approach this. And I think for me, the best way for me to approach it is to take a central section all the way. So a nice clean central section. And then what we'll do is we'll establish this as the guide across the top. So we're going to put our general shape in to begin. I'm going to start right at the top of the head, and I'm not going to cut the hair with a clean line. I'm going to actually cut with a slight jagged edge. So we're going to point cut into the hair. You can see how comfortable this is. Elbow dropped, and just lifting with the fine teeth of the comb, and I'm just lifting this hair up at 90 degrees, and I'm just creating just a little bit of texture just through the top. You know, we have a saying in Arrojo, we say cut hair, don't cut corners, and try not to drop your comb. Do you want to get me that comb? Get past me a clean comb. Great, there it's in the barber side. It's coming out of the barber side. It's going to get a little towel dry. We're going to get a towel. We're going to practice professionalism.
Safe combing.
Safe combing. You got to be careful. Lift this up, fine teeth of the comb, and then literally just pointing in. Now remember, this is Brooklyn Live. Feel free to ask questions as we continue through our journey, and thanks for joining us today. I'm just going to check that one more time. So I've gone one way, Then I've gone the other. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work across the head this way. So I'm going to pull everything in. As the head rounds away towards the camera, I'm going to use just a slight over direction inwards. So that means that it's going to square out the top just a little bit more.
Nick, Kim Simpson is asking what length shears are you using?
These Kim are 5.0, so they're a 5-inch shear. When you're working on precision-based hair cutting, a smaller shear is the best way to go. When you're working with a larger shear, it's usually good for long hair, good for dry cutting. But when you're working on, precision-based cutting, I always say start off with a small shear. 5 inches is about small enough for guys and girls. So, and we really like this shear. It's a beautiful scissor. The best point about this scissor, there's two things that when we crafted this scissor with BMAC, there were two things that were important to me. Number one, you can see it's slightly offset. So this is nice, you have nice straight line, slight offset. But really, that was important to me. So you can really cut in flat. So you've no screw or anything like that that really impedes the hair. And the other thing was the rounded tips. When you have rounded tips, it really is, it's a little bit more safe. So section number 3, as we're lifting up and in, elevating the hair. And I'm just going to work this over to where the head rounds out.
Hey Nick, Chelsea Barone is asking, how often, if ever, do you cut your fingers?
Well, Chelsea Barone, it happens. When you play with sharp objects, it happens. I'm not too concerned about cutting myself. When you change your scissor, you cut yourself more because you have to get used to the new blades. But realistically, I don't really cut myself too often, but now I've said that, I'm probably going to cut myself today. That's the way that it rolls.
Nick, Kim Perm wants to know, with this cut, why did you choose to start from the top?
Well, because really that's the most important piece, was to collapse the top down. Because the length, the excessive length was through the top, so I wanted to attack that straight away. So now when we look in the mirror, you can see that we're collapsing this. You're going to spin around, Corinne, so we'll unplug you. You'll come to this side. Take a quick look in the mirror too. You can see, so by cutting this shorter, we start to get the shape. Now this is going to be cut later, so we'll do detail later. Obviously this is a little wingy. I've literally worked straight sections, lifting the hair up at 90, slight over direction inwards as we've worked to what I call the round of the head. And now I'm going to do the same on this side.
Nick, Jonathan Sifredo wants to know, do you like the Sam Via shears with the new ergonomic design?
I've not seen them, so I couldn't really comment on them. I have seen some of Sam Via shears. I like very simple scissors. That's my favorite. I know Sam has a lot of scissors and he's got a lot of education with his scissors. I always recommend you find out what works for you. Everybody's an individual. If you like my style of work, you may like my style of shear that I prefer. If you like Sam's, I'm sure you're going to find that his are going to work out great. Obviously, he's a great hairdresser, very successful, and he's got great education to go along with his tools.
Great. Jessica Coleman's asking, when cutting curly hair, is point cutting better than straight cutting?
Well, you know what? There's a few things here, right? So if I cut the hair straight, I'm cutting the hair blunt. I don't really want to cut the hair blunt right now. I think by cutting a little bit of texture in there actually makes it just a little bit nicer. It's a little bit more freeform. Number 2, who's she looking at? She's looking at me. Anything you can do to make your haircut look slightly different, make your client's experience slightly different, is gonna mean that you are actually marketing yourself without even saying anything. I spent the first 10 years of my career working at Vidal Sassoon, and everyone was cutting clean lines, and it was a scissor-only environment. So for me, I started point cutting. Anything I could do that was slightly different from everybody else was all about personal marketing. Now, in those days, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have the web, we didn't have a lot of the stuff that we have today.
You didn't have electricity?
We had coal, Corinne. Yeah? And by the way, in the 70s, we worked on a 3-day week, and we used to have the power would disappear. So, Corinne, you are right. Yeah, you complained, Mrs. Corinne. She complains, but trust me, we had it a lot worse. Okay, so now look in the mirror. You can see we've already collapsed this down. You can see. Now, I'm not going to do cross-checking, but if you were to cross-check, you could come through this way, and you can see there's your slightly textured line. So we've worked central channel to collapse and flatten the hair out, and I've worked by pulling everything slightly inwards into the previously cut section. You work to the round of the head, and you create your guide points on either corner. Let me just check this side, and then we're going to go into the side. So you can stay right there, Mrs. Corinne. And as long as the power, Miss Corinne, as long as the power stays with us, we'll be okay. Austin. Powers.
Kim Farina would like to know, are you scheduled to do anything in the Denver market in the future?
You know what, I am, and I'm coming to Denver. Definitely coming this year. I'm looking forward to coming to the Mile High City Center. You said it, Corinne.
I couldn't help
It's nothing
it.
but trouble. So yeah, you know what? Keep an eye on Arrojo Social. That's our connection. Arrojo Social is our social connector. And we're going to be posting all of our dates and what we've got coming soon so people can be aware of it. Now, you see the hair has gone from wet to damp. Soon it's going to go to dry. We don't want to cut the hair dry. So I'm going to reach for, there it is.
Boom. Can we get a close-up?
I'm going to reach for our Arrojo Hydro Mist. Yeah, this is a great spray conditioner, $19. We sell our products to salons and independent operators. If you're interested, it's called the Ambassador Program. And become an ambassador for the Arrojo product line and get connected to our education. This is a great refreshing product. It's a great product also for Nadia to take home, because it's the spray in the morning that maybe if she doesn't want to necessarily wash her hair, she can just refresh and reset. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, this is the widest part of the head. So now what we're going to do is we're going to section the hair out right through here. And now it's time for us, I was just checking the length, because this is the length that we cut. Now it's time for me to take a section through the widest part, which is typically over the center of the ear. And I'm now going to work in the flats of my fingers, and I'm going to cut the hair now. Yeah, I was just thinking, let's just take a section and have a look and see. So let's take our first section right here. Going to comb the hair straight out. Now we're going to comb this hair straight over. There's your guide point. We're going to layer this hair in. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to work by point cutting into the hair. You notice as I cut, you see the size with the Arrojo. Can you see the Arrojo? Yeah? That's the blade that doesn't move. So we can actually use our fingers to rest the blade that doesn't move and just create a little texture. And I want to keep the length around the edges, opposite to how, you know, she was thinking initially, she was thinking, hey, let's cut the sides short and keep the top long, which I think is a little Kramer-like. So I thought we'd go against the Kramer, although I do love Kramer. So just coming through, pointing in. Again, with the roundness of the edges, it's really good for helping not to cut yourself, which is great. Just working right the way in. So we're working towards the face, taking care of all of the front first. Now as I come to the final sections, it's going to be a little over direction backwards. So I've got a little bit more length there to begin. Or I've got a little bit more length there for when I come to personalizing the cut. Because right now we're not personalizing the cut. Right now what we're doing is we're putting our general shape. And I comb that over. Let's just have a look. I just comb that over through the corner because there's a corner here. We're literally creating this kind of a shape. So we're creating like a corner weight line through here. And I've got to round that in at the end, but I'm not going to do that right now. What I'm going to do now, Corinne, is I'm going to ask you to come over this side. Stay right here. Right here. And then what we'll do is, we've got our guide here, so now what we'll do is we'll run our guide in through the back. So you'll see, now always comb, what I like to do is I always comb from the base of the section. Take that section nice and clean, comb it, hold it, no need to clip on super short hair like this, and then look at the angle of my fingers, follow the comb. You see how we're going to work to keep length? Right in the corner. So I'm combing the hair straight out, and I'm not even touching the outline. Next section. Following through, straight out, and just point cutting in. So Corinne, where were we? We've been traveling this week, yeah? 2 days ago, where were we?
We were in West Palm Beach, Florida.
And how was the weather?
It was great, and Tom Monticello wants you to know it's 75 degrees there right now.
Oh, thank you, Tom Monticello. Tom is one of our phenomenal ambassadors. He has a flagship Arrojo Ambassador Salon in Wellington, and he was on stage with me this past Monday, where we did Arrojo Expose, and it was a great turnout. 200 hairdressers from all over the West Palm Beach market area, and we shared our inspiration, and we were on stage with some of our other ambassadors also, Tracy from Scotch Bonnet and Marcy from Create. So carry on, Corinne.
We've got a ton of questions coming in.
Good.
So, first one. So many, sorry. When is your next Happy Mondays in Los Angeles? From Rick Jaramillo.
Hey Rick, my next Happy Mondays in LA in Santa Monica is the end of February. I believe it's February the 27th. It'll be the Monday, the last Monday in February. I am going to be in Santa Monica teaching a classic cutting class. It is a 3-day classic cutting class with scissors, and we are going to teach one length line with graduation, classic graduated bob, short graduation. We're going to teach tight graduation, and I believe we're also going to be teaching a square layer. So 3 days of hands-on. If you want to learn my cutting technique, I'll be in Santa Monica. And if you want to come to Happy Mondays, we're going to start promoting it very, very soon.
Awesome. Lewis would like to know, when are you coming to Texas?
Oh, I love Texas. We're definitely coming to Texas this year. In fact, what I'm going to do, guys, before the end of day tomorrow, we will make sure that we put all of our dates on Arrojo Social, and you'll be able to check it out. So go to the App Store, download Arrojo Social, that's the Arrojo app, and you can stay connected to where we are, because we are all over the place. In fact, tomorrow, weather permitting, I'm heading out to Seattle, and I'm doing an event in Seattle. It's a private event in Seattle, and then I'm coming back, and I'm going straight back to Chicago. Let's just stop in for a second right now. Quick recap. So when we came through the side, and I've still got to connect the corner, this line here is the demarcation line where the side and the top connect. what we did was we worked from the widest part of the head, which is typically over the ear, straight sections, pulling the hair straight out, and creating a more of a flat square shape, and then we connected through into the sides. And now what we're reaching is what I'd like to call the back corner, even though the head doesn't have corners, but this is the transition from the side into the back, side, back. I'm going to stop right here. Let me just do this final section, and it should all make sense, because I don't want to overly round out the haircut. And I'm going to repeat on the opposite side what I've done on this side. So you can see, if you look in the mirror, you can see what shape you're creating. You can see that we're flattening that out. Not connected in through the top corner. There might just be a little bit of weight in there because we've got to kind of cross-check through that. But this side generally is complete. The rough sketch is there, or I'd like to say the foundation for this cut is there, because I'll be sketching in some detail with the razor. Let's go to the opposite side, Corinne.
Awesome.
It's a nice checker top you're wearing today, Corinne.
Oh, thank you.
You
had to buy some new clothes.
You got a new apartment, yeah?
A new room. Actually, no, I'm sleeping on a cot right now in someone else's apartment in Staten Island.
Oh, I never knew you were so kinky. Okay, let's wet this hair down again with our Hydro Mist. That's the Arosho Hydro Mist, a conditioning spray. And do you have any questions, Corinne?
So many. Okay, Leah Hartline would like to know, what is the price point on the shear? Your razor is already on my list.
Okay, so the shear is $335. So 10% off $335 is $35. $70 off. Yeah? So 70 off $335 equals?
What?
See, I'm trying to teach hairdressers how to calculate.
Math is in our forte.
I know math. So 70 off $335. Corinne's just picked up her phone. $265.
I don't do that. Awesome.
$265. The code ends tomorrow.
Snow day.
Snow day.
Okay. Keep going. Dana said you're amazing.
Oh,
She was
thanks,
asking,
Dana.
how does she get an appointment with you, and how long is your wait list?
Well, my wait list is, I never have a wait list, because if you want a haircut, I'll do it. The golden rule to being successful is always saying yes. The only time I can't cut your hair is when I am out of town. I almost froze.
I gave her the salon number.
Good, thank you. You did that just now?
Yeah.
Corinne, you're like multifaceted.
Multifaceted. Okay, Maxine Craig would like to know, are you creating diagonal sections here?
No, I'm creating straight sections vertical. Now I'm going to check for length both sides. You can see, because this hair here, this where the round of the head was, hair was cut up. So there's a slight corner right in here. Then what I've done is I separate the section, and then I do a judge. So this is a straight section, vertical, vertical, vertical. When I come into the back, they go slightly diagonal back. I'm just going to check for a guide length. So that gives me the guide length, but the guide length's also in the top here, but I want to check through the side. And now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat exactly the same. So it's a straight vertical section, and we're going to come straight in, and away we go. The most important thing is don't angle your fingers in, because that's going to create roundness. Yeah? So I'm keeping it nice and square. I want to leave the softness around the perimeter of Nadia's hair. It's going to give it a softer, more French, more sexy, more like PC, mais oui, you know? This is how we do it. Guess what? I went home last night, Corinne. And guess what was on TV?
Do you have a cool story
An
for
old
me?
episode of What Not to Wear. They were playing a marathon on the Discovery Channel.
How did your hair look?
It looked like not great. And I had a Band-Aid on my finger while I was cutting,
no.
so that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh,
It was a blast from the past. And my kids were so excited because my kids hadn't seen me on TV. So that was a lot of fun.
that's cute. All right, questions. Jason Paget said, hey, Nick, are you working all day?
I am
Always.
working all day, always,
rest of his
all
life.
day, every day for the rest of my life. Thank you, Corinne. She's right. Patrick, I work all the time.
Awesome.
The snow doesn't stop me. The rain doesn't stop me.
Nothing stops him.
Nothing stops me.
Jessica Coleman said, "Can I become an ambassador even though I haven't graduated beauty school?"
Well,
That's
you
very
need
sweet.
to, you have to get a license to become a hairdresser. So I would suggest you get that license. As soon as you get the license, if you're doing renting a chair or you have your own suite, you can 100% become an ambassador. We'd love to have you. And our ambassador program is definitively tied to education. And I have some really interesting, exciting stuff coming out very soon that nobody knows about. So stay connected. Even Corinne doesn't know. But it's a great way for our ambassadors to get connected to our brand in a way that I think is going to be exciting. I'm hoping to launch the program that I'm thinking about in literally a couple of weeks.
Jared Joyner's asking, "Why are you cutting her hair with scissors instead of a razor?"
Jared, because what I want to do is I want to show you how to create a nice clean shape with a scissor, put the foundation in, and then maybe we'll do some personalization with a razor. Again, creates a bit of excitement for me, creates a bit of excitement for the client, but this structure is easy and not everybody's great at razor cutting. Come around here, Corinne, because we've cut one side, or we've cut the second side. Now we're going to do those diagonals. We'll lift the chair up. That's why it's great. This is the Arrojo chair. Check this chair out. We got loads of them here. And this was designed by Belvedere. This is an Arrojo chair. And I'm about to buy some new ones for my new school.
Are they red?
They're going to be... I think I'm going to do red.
Do it.
Should I do red?
Yes.
I think I should do red.
Do
Red's
red.
my favorite color.
Where are the orange shoes, Nick? Did you bring them back?
My orange shoes are still around.
Are they in Florida?
No, they are here.
Brought them home.
I brought them home. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this guide and we're going to run it straight the way down without angling in towards the hairline. Check out the snowy weather. They're coming in with their hoods on.
Snow boots.
Hey, Nick. Kim Farina's asking, "Are you using a stationary guide?"
I am using a traveling guide. Always traveling. If I use a stationary guide, what happens is you start to build up weight. And what I'm trying to do, or my objective, is not to build up weight, but rather to collapse the shape. It's important here where the skin stretches, just to have that perfect amount of tension so you don't overly stretch the hair and cut the hair too short. So this is going to travel slightly diagonal. I like to call following the shape of the head. So I'm following it down into the nape. Work nice and clean, fine teeth of the comb, even tension. Look at how I rest the blade as I come down, so nothing's floating. And we just chip that right in. Keep your section nice and clean, right the way in. We are going to be doing a Brooklyn Live in March, and it's going to be on American Salon Facebook. So that's something that once we get a little closer to the time, we'll be sharing that, and hopefully that's going to expand our network and expand our exposure. So following through, we're going to work all the way to what I call the corner of the back. So we're going to work from the side to when it transitions towards the back, which is literally right here.
Nick, Joanne Ionata is asking, "Are you going to the premiere show in June?"
Yeah, we just confirmed premiere. We're going to have American Wave certifications. We're going to have 2 classrooms. Certification will be paid. You have to pay, but it's a great price. I believe we set it at $225, so less expensive than our less expensive because it's at the show and because it's a slightly shorter certification. We're going to do 2 classrooms with razor cutting and scissor cutting with myself and my team, and a main stage presentation on Monday.
And a new booth.
And we have our brand new state-of-the-art booth, which is pretty dope aroma.
Kimberly Crow's asking, "Is the new American Wave spray out?"
No, Kim. How you doing, Kim? Nice to hear you. hear from you. The American Wave product is being filled as we speak, and we will be launching American Wave within 2 weeks. It is a 6 SKU line of hair products designed specifically for wave, curl, and texture. And the actual wave spray is pretty amazing. It's an aerosol wave and shine spray. It's absolutely beautiful. We sold out. So when we had it on our booth in Long Beach, we sold out. That was just like our test fill. So you do some samples, we put it all on the booth, sold out. So we're really excited about what that's going to bring for us in 2017.
Karen Thompson asked, is this considered point cutting versus blunt cutting?
Yeah, blunt cutting would be down like this. Point cutting is using the points of your scissors. At this point, it's a touch point for me. So I'm just going to stand.
You're touching?
I'm touching, okay? Move over there, touch it. Stand in there, run my fingers in, and start to have a look and see what we got. So basically, the only area that we've not cut right now is the center back. Now you can come back to the center. You can come back here.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You're not going to kick me out?
Well, maybe. So this is the only area that's not been cut. We cut the top, recap time, cut the top from just below where the head rounds off, just at the crown. Central section, we pulled everything up slightly in, so we've got a flatter top. Then we went from the width of the head, worked towards the face, and then we followed the sections down. Now it's time for me to do exactly the same that I did here through the back. So we're gonna pause, and we're gonna take a central section, and now we're gonna do what we call a square flat back. Sounds sexy, doesn't it? Square flat back, just like me, square flat back. All right, so you'll see there's your section here. You'll see there's your guide. You're gonna comb this hair straight out. So it's going to be slightly longer around the crown. And we're just going to chip in the points of our scissors, resting, coming right the way in. The head can tip lightly down. The Hydro Mist just gives the hair a smidgen, which is a technical word for a very small amount of control, better control for me. Kind of holds the hair, holds the hair, it holds the hair together. Brooklyn Live, it's live, it's uncut, and it's fun.
Jared Joyner's asking, is that her natural color?
No. Come back in here, Mrs. Lauren, and let's talk color. Let's give us a recap on the color formulation. Goldwell hair color.
Goldwell hair color. We started with Top Chic. We wanted to lift that root up a little bit, but we didn't want it to be a hot root. So Marlene, here in the Williamsburg location, did 9 kg, 2 parts of that, 1 part of the 11G, and then that was at the root, and then at the ends, because we can have a little bit more control there, we did equal parts of those two. So the 9 kg, 11G. And then we toned it with the Colorants 9 kg 80R.
Great job. Now, Lauren's one of our colorists in training, and you know what, Lauren, you're doing such a great job. Next week's model, you're coloring.
Okay.
Okay.
I colored the one from last week, too. It turned
Great.
out great.
Beautiful. So we'll get
Nice
you on this
icy
one.
blonde.
Icy blonde.
Goes well
Ice,
with the weather, right?
ice, baby. Where's the bass line? Dum 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 da da dum dum. All right, so you'll see I'm just working vertical sections as we flatten out the back. I'm combing the hair straight back into the previously cut section. See, there's your guide. Straight back into the previously cut section, and just collapsing the back of the hair in.
Jonathan Sofredo's asking, do you recommend going live on clients?
No, I don't recommend going live on clients. Clients are paying you. And when a client's paying you, it's not for them to be exposed to you and your live experience. So personally speaking, no. What I recommend, if you want to share your magic on Facebook, I recommend you find a really great looking girl like Nadia and have it all pre-selected and preset so that you can do your magic. Can you imagine if something went wrong and you're doing a client and she's paying? You're jeopardizing your business, so be very careful. Following through, and I'm going to work until I run out of hair. And what I mean by that is I'm going to work until I run out of hair because I'll have already cut. Because we're moving now, we're transitioning from the back into the side. There's going to be very little to cut. It's going to run out of hair. And then we'll repeat on the opposite side. Now remember, this is the structured shape that I was looking for. So I call this foundation shape. This is like the classic foundation shape. And then once we've finished, then it's time for me to start working on the details. So that's the last section. You'll see there's nothing's going to reach there. Nothing comes. And then you can have a look in the mirror and you can see we've still got to connect through the corner, but you can see there's a little corner right in here. We're still going to connect through that corner, but let's do this side. And this is very important for body position. So we'll have Corinne gracefully move around. And I'm going to drop the chair down now, the Arrojo Belvedere chair. And we're going to repeat. And this is the way we hold it when we repeat this side. One of the things that we see a lot is we see misrepresentation of body position. So now I can work inside, but look how awkward this is. I feel like a T-Rex. Oh, T-Rex! Yeah? So we want to get a little bit of space.
Tell us how you really feel.
I will tell you how I really feel, and then I'm gonna cut over the fingers. Yeah, and as I come into the nape, if I step back a little, it becomes a lot easier. Create a little bit more space.
Nick, Lewis has a great question. He said, how do you cut the back with the curve of the head?
Well, I'm cutting the back against the curve of the head. So I'm not going with the curve of the head. Now, if you find it hard to cope with the curve of the head, by tucking the chin in, it flattens out the curve. And when you tuck the chin in, it creates a little bit more space for you to maneuver. So again, the good news is necks move, heads move on necks, and that means that you can move your client gracefully and gently to get in that perfect position. So here, rotated the hand, it's just creating that little bit of texture. As we move in, I'm combing the hair straight back, using the previous section as a guide. As this is kind of like shades of fundamental technique. This is like a classic square layer through the back. Again, when I learned how to cut hair 35 years ago, I had just very few haircut kind of techniques when I became a stylist, but those were the classic techniques: classic square layer, classic round layer, classic graduated bob. Once you've mastered how to cut them in a classic fashion, then you start to play with your technique to experiment, and you learn on the job. Yeah, you learn on the job. Keep it nice and clean. I'm working now, just getting into the corner where the head rounded away. So that means there's going to be less hair meeting this guideline.
Got some questions coming in.
Good.
Tim Bricker's asking,
Hey,
why didn't you continue from the corners to the middle back on each side?
Well, that's a great question, Tim. If you work this way in, which is what Tim's asking, there'll be a tendency to build up a little bit more weight here. And that's why we flattened it out by coming from the inside. Yeah? So we flattened it by coming from the inside out this way. If you come from the outside in, it's not necessarily going to build weight up, but there's a tendency to build more roundness in the shape. So when I'm doing this kind of angling, I'm looking to create more roundness. When I'm doing from the inside out, creates flatness.
Jeff Stump is asking, are these 5.0 BMAX?
These are Mr. Jeff Stump, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. And happy Monday. He's going to be joining me on stage. And I hear that you're going to be at the Viper Room with my good friends from Elevate Hair, Tatum Neal And quite a lot of people that I know are going to be on the platform there. So that's exciting. People that worked with Arrojo in their journey. So from Gerard Scarpesi and also Tatum Neal and Hector Rodriguez and Jeff Stump and I think Tim Duenas.
Oh yeah.
So it's like it's like going to be like a bit of the old family getting together again, which is exciting.
Are you gonna wear drop crotch pants?
I got some drop crotch pants to accommodate the warm weather, because I know you like that stuff. All right.
Megan,
Did you like my drop crotch pants, Corinne?
They were great, especially with the orange shoes.
D squared,
They might be
baby.
my
I'm so trendy.
Favorite.
I'm getting trendier as I get older.
Megan Moran said, "You never look tired, Nick. What's your secret?"
Man, I do always look tired. Are you crazy? You're being nice. Now I know. Yeah. My secret is a triple latte with times 7.
With a croissant.
I didn't eat my croissant yet, Corinne.
No?
Quick, let's focus in. What I'm going to do now, before I go into the detailing, is what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to connect the corner. Yes, I'm just working through what I call the corner. So making sure as we cross-check through the sides into the top, and then I think it's time for me to start picking up my razor and we'll do some razor work for you. So I've literally just run through the sides, You can just run across the back. You see there's the little corner. Just running over, just a little bit. Over the fingers. Come this way. Now we'll do this side, Corinne.
Okay. Jeff Stem said, "And a baseball cap."
Jeff, you know I've got a baseball cap. Jeff, I've got 2 baseball caps. So you got some competition. I just don't have a big ginger beard, baby.
No.
But maybe if I stand close enough. Wow.
Susan Aiken said she loved those red shoes you wore in Long Beach. Hi from Laguna Beach.
Well, thank you. They're my red traveling boots. It's like Father Christmas. Wait till you see my orange ones.
Even better.
Even better.
Jeff Stubb is asking, would it be fair to say anything above the round of the head you work over your fingers and anything below the round you work inside your fingers?
Well, I think it's fair to say that you work for comfort more than anything, and anything above the round of the head, yeah, might be easier, and below easier. So you've got to work out, you know, what works for you, but if you're not comfortable, it means that you're not doing it in the right position. Said the bishop to the mistress. Brooklyn XXX Live. Yes.
Don't let your children watch this.
Don't let your kids watch. I hope mine aren't. It's a snow day. They closed the school today in New York. New York's not what it used to be. It used to be a city that never slept. A little bit of snow.
No, we're sleeping.
I can't.
Are we closed too? Can I?
We are not closed, Corinne.
Go
You came on a ferry this morning, didn't you?
I did. I trekked 2 hours to be here.
Thank you, Corinne.
You're welcome.
Everybody's cheering at home.
Great job.
Thank you. Gretchen's asking, do you point cut everyone?
No. But, you know what, Gretchen? It's good to actually, create a little bit of magic, a little bit of drama. And it's not for a show, it's for effect. Yeah? So just by putting a little bit of point cutting in, it's just, for effect. It gives the hair just a little bit more of a textured feel. I feel better about it. General shape is now in. It's time for me to hydrate with a little...
Are you thirsty?
No, with a little Hydro Mr. Rooney. And we'll dampen this down again. Now what's happening is this conditioner's getting into the hair, so it's giving the hair a glisten, a sheen. And now it's time for me to work on perimeter and detail. It's too long in the nape, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the nape. I'm going to tighten this up. Always cut the hair damp, not dripping. So that's my Arrojo Hydro Mist.
Smells good.
It's Linden Blossom. Our fragrances for our product are second to none. This is the Plier razor, available on Arrojo Pro. There's only one white one, and it's mine.
Are you gonna make an orange one? To
Uh,
match your shoes?
maybe, Corinne. Okay, look at the client. Client's covered in hair, so don't blow dry. You know, sometimes people go, I'm gonna blow dry, and the hair goes everywhere. So you should have a great cutting cape, and we have great cutting capes, and just let that hair just fall to the ground. Yeah? Shake it, baby. That was like from a TV show, wasn't it? One hairdresser
Like
ago.
Shake and Bake?
No, that's Wake and Bake.
Oh yeah.
Okay, shake it, baby. Okay, so now let's do some little bit of, so when I'm holding the razor, rotate, 2 fingers, push with it's like a little pen or a knife. And now what we're going to do, we're going to come in and we're going to slight diagonal sections, rotate to the fine teeth of the comb. And now let's shorten this and sit this in.
I'm getting some greetings from Ecuador.
Hello, Ecuador. We've not been there, so maybe that's a place we should go. What do you think, Corinne? Ecuador for you?
Let's do it. Expose Ecuador.
Expose Ecuador. We have 2 exposés coming up. One is live on our site. One is not live on our site, and our site is arrojoexpo.com. The next expose will be in Chicago, and it'll be on the Sunday night during the trade show, the big trade show there, which we will be at with our booth, but we are not doing it. They don't have a main stage necessarily anymore. So we'll be in Chicago. We'll do expose in Chicago. And then our next expose is April the 9th in Philadelphia. Now that is live. So Philly, we can't wait to come back for some cheesesteaks. And we're excited about the venue. It's a great venue. We did an expose there last year.
We go to Fringe Arts?
We are going to Fringe Arts.
Yeah,
By the way, you said that,
house.
Karen. Fringe Arts.
Fringe Arts.
Fringe Arts.
Ooh, Jeff Stemp said we need to do a West Coast wave party before Coachella.
Oh, yeah, I can't go. If I go to Coachella, if I go and it's got Coachella in it, I'm going to have to go to Coachella. And Jeff, you don't know how I like to dance. Corinne knows. And Corinne would have to go too.
You gonna put flowers in your hair?
Always.
Faux braids?
Faux-ho, yo-ho, soho, loho.
Fuzzy boots?
Fuzzy furry boots.
Lipsticks?
Okay, so we just started to work with our razor right in here. I'm liking the little fringe arts that we've got around the edges here, little fringy. Nice thing with a razor too, is you can kind of pinch and twist.
Is that one of your dance moves?
Yeah, a little pinch and twist. So just taking little bits of hair, see how I twist? And then when you twist, what happens is the hair on the inside of the twist is long, but the hair around it gets short. This was a technique I filmed for Vidal Sassoon many years ago, created, I believe, by a lady called Pam Roscoe, who was one of my was one of my art directors, and she was young and I was young. We were all young then. In fact, where's the reminiscing music?
I have a small violin.
Yeah, we were all young then. And Pam Roscoe created a technique called the twist, and it's been used many times, and you basically twist the hair and create texture. And when we did the Vidal Sassoon cutting series, I remember doing the twist cut, which was kind of like this.
Oh, we got
We got the moves to go with it. We got the move, baby, like Jagger.
Like Jagger.
Okay, so now it's time for me to come to the front. So we cleaned up the outside here, and I'm going to come straight in to the bangaroonies, which, if you know me, it's Australian for bangs. So now I'm going to comb this hair down, and we're going to come straight in. We want to create pieciness. Okay? So what we'll do is we'll kind of create a little bit of more of our twisting, and we're going to shorten this and expose her face, and she's got such great features. So right in here, just melting that hair away.
Nick, Stephen Marinero said, tell Nick the salon guy says hi.
Oh, hey, Steve. How are you? How's he doing? I think he's doing great. He's doing really great. He's a great guy.
And Pauline Mosney said, will you be teaching the July cutting class?
Ooh, where at?
Not sure.
Where at, Pauline? I'm teaching all the time. I don't know if I'm in LA, I teach all the classes in LA. In New York, I teach the classes when I'm here. I work all the time. I'm trying to really build my business. So you see, just pinching and just grabbing. Coming through, combing this hair forward. And I'm gonna, this is the flat plane of the blade. Hair's getting just a little longer towards the edges there. So you want to kind of keep some length. If you don't keep length, the hair doesn't move. Now I'm going to spin around here, and I'm going to tighten up all this. The hair's a little, just dried out just a little. So let's just pinch this, and this is very important, because look at the space. We're going to create a little bit more space. This will make a big difference. So now I'm going to come in, take that hair right out. I'm going to go even shorter. So even with the blade, I can get really close to the client. Straight edge razor work, we always like to teach with a guard on. And then and the razors that we sell come with a guard, so you can actually get used to holding the razor in the way in which we've kind of designed over the years for safety. And then when you get really good, you can unleash the blade. And that's always exciting, to unleash the blade, because when you're working with a straight edge razor, the blade always is cutting when it connects. So you have a much lighter touch. When you work with a razor with a guard, you have to kind of push through the guard. In other words, you can't cut so lightly, because if you cut so lightly, if the touch is too light, what's going to happen is you're not going to cut any hair off. Detail right in here. Notice how we kept some length right through here, so it's not just cut from the salon. Now we'll come through this side. We'll take some sections, we'll pinch. This is all about, this is your sketching, this is your personalization.
Pauline was asking about the New York class.
Which one?
Yeah, that one.
We have
To the
classes
calendar.
every week. If you're interested in our classes, we have classes every weekend. And it's all available on arojonyc.com. The classes are there. And I can't guarantee that I'm on every class, but I make my effort to be there. But we have great educators. Notice how I created just a bit of space there. And that hair will move around that space. So length, space. This wiggle here, wiggle, wiggle, is just going to be taken away. Lauren's right there. We're going to put a little bit of moisture right in the temple area. Calm that hair down. Snow's getting really, it's like a snow globe
Bring
here.
us some snow.
Can you see how it's
Yeah,
we look like
we're a couple snowballs.
we're in a snow globe here. Now let's come right in. Get over here so they can see. Get right here. Can you see?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
If I go farther over there, you can't really see.
Right into the temple hair.
Nick, Stephen Marinero is asking, when wouldn't you use a razor for a haircut?
When I didn't feel like it was working. Yeah, so when I've used the razor before, picked it up, started to do the cut, and the hair's behaved in a way where I know it's not reacting well. Or if the client says I don't like the razor. So I always listen to my clients, and if they decide that they're not interested in razor cutting, I just put my razor down and cut with a scissor. You learn how to scissor cut first. Razor cutting always comes second. You need to create the structure in the shape. You need to understand structure with shape, with scissors, and then razor comes second in line. When you cut hair with a scissor, it's about joining lines and following. When you cut hair with a razor, it's about sketching. So getting close to the finishing touches soon. Yeah, we're getting close. So we basically raise it in the outline here. We raise it through the front and into the sides. And I'm probably going to pick up my scissor because I don't want to wet the hair down no more. I just want to kind of maybe do a little bit of texturizing with my scissor. You see how I just move that hair around to see how it feels? This hand here, my feeler, is feeling to make sure that we know what we're doing. And you know, that's what happens with hairdressing. You start to get that feel, and if you look in the mirror, you can start to see the vision of what you're creating, and you can see that hair move around. So it gives it a freshness with it being short around the face, which she's not experienced before. It really makes the eyes bigger because you're creating more of an emphasis and you're framing up here. And you'll see how you have really nice sharp pieces next to length, and that creates that kind of gamine, soft, playful, and it's not meant to match. It's meant to be consistent but deconstructed. Nice word, deconstruct. Even if you say to a client, I'm going to deconstruct, it kind of makes you sound good. Yeah, always sound good. So now you're going to kind of like, I got my little grabbers here. I can feel there might be a little bit more weight in here. Just a smidging more weight in here. You have a feel. Maybe a little bit more, just a smidgen over here. The back feels good. So now it's time to go. Oh, you know what I'll do? So I'll get my texturizing shears out too, but I'll put them here. So I'm not going to go there yet. I know she was excited coming there. She said, ooh, texturizers.
Let me zoom in.
Let's just do a little bit more. This is a nice way to cut. Really create channels. So you can see how I'm creating channels by cutting the hair forward, combing the hair forward, creating little channels.
Maxine said she wants to be on your hair model call list.
Well, you know, all you need to do, Maxine, contact Christine at Arrojo. Oh, that's what you did, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah,
that's exactly
she did exactly
what
what
I
she did. Christine at Arrojo NYC is my assistant, and if you're interested, then just send us a picture, and if we think it's a good lesson for us, we can do it.
And Nadia, they said you have the best eyebrows.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Songs you. Wait a minute. You freak, Nick. You're a nigger. That's what happens. You are a freak when you talk to yourself.
Oh, I see Derek's in the house. Hi, Derek.
Derek is in the house. Okay, let's just work through now. Now just a little bit of refining. Notice how now I'm actually still keeping some of the length, but just adding a little bit more texture. So I'm just adding a little bit more texture, so keeping the length, but just adding a little bit more texture. Just keeping the length.
Can you repeat that?
Adding a little bit more texture. Marlene, when you got your clothes on, when you got your jacket off, come on over. Come and say hello.
A steamy Facebook Live.
We want it, yeah, steamy.
Timothy Keys said, hey Nick, thanks for being a man of your word and following us back on Keys to Great Hair and 11 Hair Salon in Atlanta.
Oh, well, thank you.
Very nice.
Try to be a man of your word. Do your best to be as true as possible. Be honest and be real. Okay, so now just a little bit more. You see, now I want the hair to dry out. You can see the sheen in the hair. That's the Hydro Mist. I will be adding a finishing product to the hair. I will be posting Nadia's photo on my Instagram. Follow us on Nick Arrojo's Instagram. You can also follow us on Arrojo NYC. Connect with us on Arrojo Social. You can always twist little bits of the hair too. This was the twist cut. So you can twist and just work. Always keep the scissor moving. just to add a little bit more texture. So twist, start at the base, scissors slightly moving, the scissors are so sharp, you still keep the length, but you just make the edges a little lighter. Everybody meet Marlene. Marlene did the color. We already talked about it.
Oh, nice.
We even did the formulation, because you put it in the computer. Good job. That's how we do every color. So Marlene's one of our colorists here, and she's doing a great job. Thanks, Marlene. I think we have a staff meeting today, do we? Good. So working through this side. Now, Corinne, what do you think we should use?
The featured product of the week.
Featured product is
Set and Style.
Set and Style Spray, but I don't think it's gonna be the right product here. I'm gonna use Arosio Defining Cream.
Defining cream.
You said it, but you
No,
said
I
it
was
after
thinking
me.
about it. No, I was
You said
thinking
it after
about
me.
Nick,
Yes.
Caitlin McGinnis asked, can you show the before pic again, please?
Yeah, you want to grab it? Grab it, Lauren. Said the bishop to the mistress. Okay, so just coming through again. Just looking. Okay. 007. 007. 007.
Don't tell them all your passwords.
007. What are you doing, Nick? You're crazy. Okay. It's completely broke. Technology is not my friend. Hello, technology.
But you're good at mental math.
I'm good at I'm mental.
Gorgeous.
Before, after, almost after, almost after.
Hey Nick, Ashley was one of your models in Long Beach. She said she loves her haircut.
Thanks, Ashley. Thanks for modeling for us, and thanks for checking us out on Brooklyn Live today on Facebook. Tell all your friends to stay connected. Corinne, what else we got coming? We have Happy Mondays coming up here in New York City.
Yep.
On February the 20th. We also have what we call an Owners Forum for anybody that's interested in finding out about how to become an ambassador with Arosio. That's on February the 20th. You can contact Gordon at Arosio NYC or contact me, Nick at Arosio NYC, and we can give you details on that. We share with you what it's like to be an ambassador, which basically is, sharing our culture and our product. We also have, I'm going to Ohio for a private class, Seattle this weekend. I'll be in Chicago on Monday. I'm going to do some product knowledge in some of our ambassador salons in Chicago.
We've got ABS and
We've got the
IBS.
America's Beauty Show. We have the International Beauty Show. International. But we have Arosio Underground during the IBS show. It's a free show, and it's where my stylists present their trend forecasting. And if Derek and some of my ambassadors are also going to present, I know we've invited just a couple. We just have spots for just a couple. So you'll see here just a little bit of final texturizing. So going deeper with the blade. So just deeper with the blade, still keeping the length. Corinne's typing away as we speak. She's multitasking.
Yes, Linda said you were her favorite part of What Not to Wear.
Ah, thanks. Thank you, Linda. It was fun. It's a long time ago now. Remember? It was fun reminiscing. I had dark hair.
Yeah, Tony Real is asking about Happy Mondays in California.
Happy Mondays in California is in Santa Monica, and it's February the 27th. If that's a Monday, it's February the 27th. It'll be 5:30 at the Goldwell Academy, and we're excited to be there to share our inspiration. We also have a 3-day cutting class there that I'm personally teaching, so if you want to come for a 3-day, it's $1,200. 3 days of personal cutting with me. Scissor cutting, we're just going to do scissor only.
I like that pinky move.
This is how they do it. Yeah. This is like when you drink your tea. Yeah. the posh way. It's the Queen taught me that. Yeah. Just a little bit of pretending. This little. Sometimes it's nice just to give it a little free form, because sometimes you want to just. You got the shape in. You can't really damage it. But now you see you're just working through, and this is just going to add a little bit more. It's like when you're sketching, you sketch quickly, and as you sketch, you know the magic starts to come through. So just a little bit of freehand personalization.
And Nick, Loretta had mentioned we're doing a last call for hair painting class this weekend.
Oh, hair painting this weekend, yeah. If anyone's interested in hair
excited.
painting. Zach, let me get my Zach out here. Is Zach around? Here he is. The man with the most. He's got a nice new haircut. Look how nice that is, yeah? It's
Looking
kind of
good,
like, you know.
Zach.
We kind of match in our texture.
Yeah, I know. It's so cool.
It's very cool. Now you're teaching them the hair painting class this weekend, 2-day class.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a lot of things going on. The first day, we're going to be demoing about 4 models, and then kind of get hands-on into classic hair painting technique. And then day 2, we're going to kind of go into and dive really deep into 4 specific Arrojo branded techniques, from classic painted foils to the roots, to our dimensional highlighting painting, to marrying foils and painting. So I'm really excited. We've got
I
a good
can't
class
wait.
kind of working.
You're going to be marrying?
I was just saying,
Marrying.
there's a wedding.
Marrying.
It's now legal to marry foils and painting.
It's legal to only in New York. We're going to put it in
Until
Donald's
Trump
agenda.
bans
See
it.
if Trump wants to allow us to pass it through Congress.
Yeah, right?
What do you think?
I think it will pass.
I think it'll pass
It's
too.
an easy- it's an easy-
Foils and painting.
Marrying.
I can't wait to see the kids.
I'm ordained already.
It's so
I can't wait to see the kids.
controversial.
So we have a few
Oh my
spots
God.
left. It's always fun on Brooklyn Live.
Karen Thompson asked, how much are the classes?
The hair painting class is $800. And any ambassador, remember, if you become an ambassador, you get reward dollars to go towards education, so it can pay for your education while you're retailing. It's a great way to build your business.
So cute.
Did you
Amazing.
feel good about this?
I feel amazing.
That's good.
Thank you so much. This feels amazing.
So cute.
I love it.
Good job,
Another
Nick.
happy one.
Yes.
Good. All right, so now it's time to clean off all the hair before we do our little bit of finishing touch. So again, shake it, baby. So you shake that out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the Arrojo dryer. We're going to get rid of all the bits.
Are you going to put your sock on it?
No, I'm not going to put my sock on it, Corinne. I know how you like my sock. So just, you'll see the product, what it's actually already done for the hair. So this is just taken away and just, again, just that little bit of finishing. Thanks, Lauren. Now it's time to take off the cape. And then it's time for us to do this little defining cream. So it's always good to kind of show your client what you're doing. So this is the Arrojo defining cream. It's $22. You're going to take a small amount in your fingertips. What I like to do is put the lid straight on. I can't tell you how many salons I go to and I open this up. Look how clean it is. It's already been used many times, but it's clean. You do not want to let anybody's hair get in there. So as soon as you take the product, put the lid back on. Also, keep the lid taut, because usually these products, when they're left open, they dry out, because this is a defining cream. You can give that to your client to hold. And then in front of your client, what I like to do is I like to show how to manipulate the product with the finger. Then you rub it into your hands. Okay, so you rub it into your hands. So you got a nice, clean, clear film. See how that's just a clear film? No white residue, no clumping. And then what we do is we start to manipulate it all the way through. This is also that little touch you can be. Just give it a little, be gentle, work it through. Again, no, listen, it's very important when you're taking clients. It's very important when you're taking clients to make it a journey, make it an experience, yeah? Do not think about doing hair and it being purely functional. It's got to have a little bit of magic to it. You know, Vidal would always create a little magic, a little drama around the chair. I think it's very important for everybody to create that little bit of magic, that little bit of drama. That keeps your client coming back. It's a highly competitive world today. It always was, but with the you know, rise in social media and connectivity, you got to keep your client coming back. You got to maximize your retail sale. Most salons don't know how to retail. Most hairdressers don't know how to retail. They forget. They think it's not important. On the contrary, it's super important. If you're not retailing to your clients, they're buying from Amazon. When they buy from Amazon, they buy the wrong product. When they buy the wrong product, they're not happy. And they need product. So you make sure you show your clients exactly what you use and feel really powerful about what you're creating. And I think we are absolutely complete. So, quick recap over the cut. We started through the top, we collapsed the top, cut the top square, then we started over the sides of the head, we started over the ear, which is the widest part, worked to the front, we followed it through into the back, and then once we got to the back corner, you can see, if you come to the side here, let's just have a look, can you see the shape? So it's flatter here, so that's why we went from the back out, and then we picked up the razor, did a little personalizing, and after we picked up the razor, we went back in with a scissor, just refined it a little bit more without cutting any length off. So we put a clean shape in, slight point cutting, we put a clean shape in with a scissor, and then we put put some personalization in with a razor. Then I put a little bit of product in my hair. My hair's better at the end of the day because it usually gets a lot of good stuff. Again, making a little bit of fun, a little bit of magic. And that is it. So hopefully we'll see you on the road soon. If we don't see you on the road soon, we will see you back here next Thursday for our next Brooklyn Live, where we're going to have Lauren do the hair color, and hopefully Corinne will be back to help us, and we look forward to seeing you soon. And please stay connected to us on Arrojo, and thanks very much for your support. Peace out.